Every year in the UK, almost 30,000 people will have an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest and then attempted resuscitation by the ambulance service. And for these people to survive their cardiac arrest, a whole series of things need to stack up well for them. Currently, when people survive, we say, gosh, weren't they lucky? But my research group and many other research groups across the country are trying to take the luck out of surviving an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. Now, how do we do that? Well, we do that by looking at all of the components that need to be in place for someone to survive. This has been described as the chain of survival. It starts off with the first link of a member of the public spotting there's something wrong and calling for help. After that, starting chest compressions or CPR, followed by defibrillation using an AED, and then moving on to care in the hospital, and then after hospital getting back to normal life, forms a chain of events, all of which must work for someone to survive and get back to normal life after a sudden out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. And my group, the Resuscitation Research Group at the University of Edinburgh, is involved in a whole range of projects looking at how we can optimize these different links in the chain. And that work starts in the community. It starts trying to familiarize people with what is a cardiac arrest, what is bystander CPR or chest compressions, getting those hands linked together, elbows straight, pressing hard and fast in the center of the chest. Not just knowing what to do, but being willing to step up and do something if the need arises. We encourage people to make a CPR plan. Have a think about what you would do if someone collapsed in front of you, wasn't breathing, wasn't responding. Call for help, do chest compressions, and then see if you can get hold of a defibrillator to try and deliver a shock. Of course, being able to deliver a shock with a defibrillator relies on there being a defibrillator to use. And we hope that one day defibrillators will be as common as fire extinguishers and located in the parts of the community where we know they will do the most help. It's fantastic that charitable organizations and community groups at the moment are willing to buy defibrillators and put them into their communities, but they're extremely expensive. It can cost more than £1,000 just to buy a defibrillator, and then even more to buy a box and to mount it in the right place. And we're hoping that a low-cost defib that's a fraction of the price will mean we can put many more of these units out into places where they can save lives. My group works on a whole range of different areas, from social psychology to social marketing, training with the ambulance service to optimize team performance during resuscitation, what we do when we get to the emergency department, places like this, the intensive care unit, cardiology, but then also what happens in the community, getting back to normal life and dealing with the aftermath of having such a traumatic event as an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. And we're interested not just in what happens to the patients, but also what happens to the families of the patients or the bystanders that have been involved in helping. As a bystander at a cardiac arrest, in order to save a life, all you need are your hands. Hands to make a phone call, hands to do chest compressions, which buys a little bit of time in order to do something else to try and start the heart, and hands to go and get an AED or defibrillator or heart restarter from wherever you can find one nearby. And if you don't know where one is, often the ambulance service on the telephone will tell you where to go to find one. Bring the defib, put it on the patient's chest and deliver a shock. At an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, it's impossible to harm the patient more by doing the wrong thing. If nothing is done, the person in cardiac arrest will die within a few minutes. The worst thing to do is to do nothing at all. So our encouragement as part of the Resuscitation Research Group is to try and help communities to make a plan, to know what to do if the need arises, and to have the confidence to do the right thing when guided by the ambulance service over the telephone, do chest compressions, use a defibrillator, and hopefully save a life.